creek that runs beside it. You might notice a water tank, a water tower with a large water tank on one end of that building. It was painted with lead paint. Inside that building for many, many years, they used dyes to make textiles back to the early 1900s. We have the next slide. This is what is called a brownfield redevelopment project. Brownfields are areas of land in neighborhoods or industrial sites that some industry or some activity involving toxic chemicals has contaminated the soil. This right here, which is the U.S. EPA's and the state of Georgia's official list of the chemicals of concern at this site in Greensboro, what's in the soil. If you could look at this list, I just throw it up here so you see that we're talking about a number of chemicals. At the top, there are a number of different heavy metals. Below that, there are toxic organic chemicals. On this official list, I put a little cross by 30 or so of these chemicals to indicate these chemicals are on EPA's high priority pollutant list. These are the worst of the worst. But when I look at that list, which is an EPA brownfield soil contamination site, I can't tell the difference between that list and the list of chemicals in sewage sludge. Neither can any other scientist. These are the same chemicals. And this list has their concentration. And all of those concentrations of those metals, those heavy metals, arsenic, lead, mercury, you name it, and all of those priority pollutants, organic pollutants, are at much lower concentrations than is found in EPA's 2009 list of sewage sludges across the United States. So I want that to sink in. Here's one EPA program based on science, on decades of science, which scientists all agree upon, that these chemicals in the soil present a risk to public health. If you breathe the dust of that soil, if you go out and you work in it, or you let your children play in it, they are at risk of cancer, of problems with their immune system, of chronic diseases of all sorts. Next slide, please. So what is being done with these brownfield sites? EPA is having them delegated to the states for redevelopment. In this case, that building has been, over the last year, converted from an old, dilapidated, toxic waste site with a textile mill building on it to a government-sponsored, government-supported housing project for Hispanic people, local black populations. They're too poor to have a place to live, and they're being moved into this building. That's why local citizens filed a lawsuit It's why I was asked to be an expert witness on whether or not this site is safe or not safe to these children. A lot of the people that are moving there are mentally ill people. Others include vets, veterans of World War II, Vietnam War, being moved in there. So everybody, EPA, the state of Georgia, the developer who's developing this site into a place for families to live, all agree this soil is highly toxic. It is hazardous chemical waste. So here you see them out there beginning to remove this soil, to take it away and bury it in a lined pit with lining where that cannot leach into the groundwater. And it'll be covered over. Next slide, please. Here is that same building today. It looks like a new building. It's been refurbished. Asphalt in that parking lot has been laid over the toxic soil. On the other side of that building, which you cannot see in this photograph I took just recently, just a number of weeks ago, the other side is where the creek is that you saw from the aerial view. The other side is not asphalted. It's left as soil that the developer promised EPA in the state of Georgia would be all removed. All the toxic soil would be removed. But when this lawsuit was settled, what the citizens did to settle it, they only settled it if I would be allowed to come in and take samples, have them analyzed, to see if the site is really cleaned up. So if we go to the next slide, this is the other side of that new building, refurbished building. There is a settling pond that was dug out. And you're seeing it here. It's dry because we had a drought this summer. Just little puddles of water left in it. And you see the pipe that's coming out into this pond. It's draining the water. That when it rains, it permeates areas of soil, and then it all ends up in this settling pond. If you look over that fence, and you see that outdoor building, that's a children's playground. Got little places for the children to swing and slide down slides and play around on the ground. We could go to the next slide. That's it. This is just a short list of chemicals that I prepared. These are analyses taken just weeks ago, a little over a month or so ago, of samples I collected from that settling pond in the children's playground. The full list looks very similar to that first list I showed you. The heavy metals, the long list of toxic organic chemicals, they're all still there. That's why the people who sued the city hired me. Because the developer has already published in the local newspapers that they had their scientists sample the soil and that it was clean, that all these chemicals were gone. But when I came in and took samples from the surface of the ground and in the sediments in the creek and in the bottom of that settling pond, what did I find? I found the same thing that was there before. they did not clean up the site, which I knew anyway. I was over there, and the local residents were over there. We saw a few truckloads of soil hauled off. If you look at this list, the second chemical down, benzoate. That is the most studied cancer-causing chemical in the world. It's why smoking is not permitted now. It's why scientists and public health officials agree smoking will give you cancer. The other chemicals are closely related to that chemical. They're all polyaromatic hydrocarbons. The reason I had these other chemicals listed there is because the whole body of science shows that when benzoate is mixed with other PAHs, as they call them, it's far more carcinogenic, presents a higher risk. You have the next slide. This is the sample, some of the results of the samples. This is lead and benzoate in sediments in the creek, in the topsoil in the playground where the children play, and in the sediments that were dried out there in that settling pond. And what you see there is, if you go in that creek, before the creek gets down to where this building is, the old textile mill, you don't see benzoate in the sediments. But as soon as the water flows by that area where that contaminated soil is, you see that's in parts per billion. It comes out to 2 or 3 parts per million of benzoate, which is a level that all scientists, the body of scientific literature agrees, is too dangerous to let children play in. It's too dangerous. It has to be dug up and buried in a landfill that's lined. You see that once you get past that site, you don't see these levels of benzoate or other heavy metals and other toxic organic chemicals. So this is the results of my samples, which the University of Georgia analyzed, the developer analyzed, and a federal agency that I'm working with is also analyzing. So if we have the next slide here, here's a local newspaper article where reporters in the city of Greensboro noticed something strange going on. The title, Mill Developer Yellow Tapes Location of Recent Site, it's a Mary Leland Law site, what they call the old mill site. The recent site, toxic testing area, talking about where I took samples. I didn't tell the local newspaper what I found. I have to wait until the lawyers all go through their system and it gets reported to the federal EPA, etc. But the local newspaper noticed something strange is going on out there. This site that the developer turned into this beautiful building and said it no longer has toxic chemicals. They've got caution tape around the children's playground. They've erected barriers, fences. They're not allowing people own the property have the next slide.